because we have read the whole book now, this is our main book for February, we get to talk about is book good. So I will do my score. Chat, let me know yours. No idea how to let people on Twitch know that it's only on YouTube at this particular stage. There's only 11 people watching. I feel like that means we can get away with Maude. For some reason as well, people's videos aren't loading, but I'm so scared to press refresh. Well, there's only 11 people here, so fuck it. Let's do it.
Did Maude go away?
Yeah, for me too.
Yes, absolutely did. Yeah, she just refreshed.
Also, I'm not sure if it's just me, but on the YouTube video, it's not actually playing. It's just waiting.
What do you mean it's just waiting?
It's just the picture of the book, and that's it.
On YouTube?
Yep.
It's basically like the premiere mode, like
it's
where it's
live.
It looks correct to me.
Oh,
that's weird.
YouTube works, says K Frito.
Try refreshing.
We get to say is book good. So in the chat, if you are there, please let me know what you're giving this one out of 5 ratings. Darren says it's working for me. Didn't someone have a suggestion for ratings?
I think there's 2 links.
There's 2 links?
I think because it said there's a live thing, and I had to go to your page and actually find the one that's working.
Oh, are you kidding?
That's what I did too.
Are you kidding? The live is welcome to our live show. Where's the one with just a book? Live? Oh, I see it. Okay. Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's 2 people waiting there. There's 3 people waiting. No, that's not it. Oh my God. Every time I stream lately, I think it'll just be my last one. I think that I just don't know if I'll continue streaming. If you click the icon with the red ring around it that says live, opens the live session, says Darren. Nisha, what do you mean by didn't someone have a suggestion for ratings? As in like 5 beast cats out of 5?
No, I thought I saw in the chat like there was a, like this is what we give for whatever number, or not like suggestions for each number rating. It was like in the, not in this chat, but like in the on Discord. Did somebody put that in there?
Oh, like I give 5 stars for books that I couldn't put down, didn't want to finish. I give 4 stars for had a good time, but you know, I had a little bit of room for improvement.
Yes.
That kind of thing?
Yes.
I feel like everyone's got their own unique rating system, which is really interesting. My 5-star can still be, I don't even know if this is a well-written book, but I wanted to read it as fast as possible and I never wanted it to end. That's my 5-star. And I'm just about to finish another 5-star. Oh boy, guys, I'm really into Wolf King. I just read Night Prince, which is the follow-up. Big time into it. What's it about, Maude? Yeah, cool. It's like Outlander in the Scottish Highlands, but there's werewolves. I'm about it. It was a little aggressive. Like, okay. I might just be like, Children of Bone freaking rocked. Love it. 4.5. I gotta go finish this book. It's like that.
Is it a series?
So
what is the series?
What? The series is called, I think it's just called The Wolf King. I think it's just called The Wolf King series. I don't know. It's on my Goodreads. It's consuming me at the moment. Have I convinced anyone else to read it yet?
Well, you just threw out Outlander and yeah.
I don't know. I feel like The Wolf King. The Wolf King. Your book.
I could search Wolf King.
It's just The Wolf King series. It's The Wolf King. She's live on the other link, says Dragon's Ghost. Go to the other live video, not this one. But the chat is coming up on my feed for the dead stream.
Say thank you, Riverside.
Hey everyone, welcome to Children of Blood and Bone. It's the second book in the Children of Blood and Bone series, I believe, by Tomi Adeyemi. It is a fantastic book. I really enjoyed it. It is about Zaylee Adebola remembers when the soil of Orisha hummed with magic. Burners would ignite flames, tiders beckoned waves, and Zaylee's Reaper mother summoned forth souls. But everything changed the night that magic disappeared. Under the orders of a ruthless king, Magi were killed, leaving Zaylee without a mother and her people without hope. Now Zaylee has one chance to bring magic back and strike against the monarchy, the tyranny. With the help of a rogue princess, Zaylee must outwit and outrun the crown prince, who is hell-bent on eradicating magic for good. Danger lurks in Orisha, where snow leopards prowl and vengeful spirits wait in the waters. Yet the greatest danger may be Zaylee herself, as she struggles to control her powers and her growing feelings for the enemy. We spoke about it last week, but if you didn't know, Tomi Adeyemi is a Nigerian-American writer and creative writing coach based in San Diego in California, and this was her debut novel. It came out in 2018, and it was in development. It's now going to be released. I think it's around like the 19th of January next year. She graduated Harvard University with an honors degree in English literature and received a fellowship that allowed her to study West African mythology and culture in Brazil. When she's not working on her novels or watching Scandal, she can be found blogging and teaching creative writing to her 3,500 subscribers at tomiadeyemi.com. And her website has been named one of the best 101 websites for writers by Writer's Digest. We spoke about the characters and the themes in the first half of the book. Now that we've finished it, thank you, Tap 83 says Riverside sucks, lol. No, you're right. You're right. So I'm not going to keep that chat up there, but I am going to open up the YouTube chat. If you've been giving scores, I will start reading them out. KP Dubs was first. Gold star. 3.75 out of 5. Why'd you give it a 3.75? You're going to need to unmute.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first half up to last week. I thought there was a lot of great exposition, setup, everything was going good. And then basically the next page I started reading after we picked up again, I'm going to describe it as it got really YA. It was just 150 pages of teen angst. And I feel like that entire section could have been dropped from the book. Really? And nothing would have changed. And I almost was ready to give up on the book. And then it finally turned around. And so the last 100 pages picked back up.
Last 50 pages
at the end, but it was pretty good at the end. So
what made it feel
5, dropped to a 2, finished strong. So 3.75.
What was it? What was there? Something that was repeated or a theme that just bogged it down for you?
Well, we have 4 main characters, and every single one of them is going back and forth. I can't decide. I have self-doubt. I'm going to do this. No, I'm going to do that. I hate him. I love him. I hate him. I love him. She hates him. She hates. Some people like that. I do not. I guess that's all I can say.
Okay. That it was such a roller coaster as well, where you're like, it's a 4, it's a 2, but it pulled it in at the end there. Tap 836. I'm not sure if you're in here, but you gave it a 3.5. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Every time it has been this way, the upcoming video never actually goes live. It's always a new live video listing. Thanks, Tap. Tap, do you have a different username somewhere else? Is that Toaster Poster? Is it Toaster Poster? I feel like there's a familiarity, and I don't know Tap's the username. I just try to use the Goodreads rating system. I don't like the Goodreads rating system. I want a 0.25, 0.5, and a 0.75 available for me. There is such a difference there. It's like, do we rate things 0 to 20, 20 to 40, 40 to 60, 60 to 80? There is such a big difference between 62 and 78. Huge difference. I like my 0.25s. I need them. I gave this one a 4.5. We'll talk about it. Next, the Wolf King. All right, Vaden. Wolf. Colleen, you gave it a 5. Talk me through this.
Well, for one thing, listening to the narrator made me feel a little bit like I was talking to my African family. I really enjoyed that. And there were some things about it. There's so much going on in Africa right now. Um, I wrote a little bit about that, I think, in Fable. Um, but I was really caught up in the story, and I don't know. I loved the Africanness of it. I'm not sure just how to explain everything that I felt, but there's um, right now in I think it's in Nigeria that the government actually is burning houses that are on a lake to try and force people to relocate.
Oh my
And
goodness.
they're saying it's for safety, but the residents feel like they're just being shoved off and that they won't have any good alternatives.
Oh my goodness.
Um, so, I mean, that was really struck home. And the loss in this book, both of my African sons, they were orphaned because of political violence. So
You're kidding.
that's, that really uh, struck home there too.
How many children do you have?
Well, I have
Actual
5
and adopted.
biological children.
Yeah, but like adopted, biological.
Um, in Africa, I've kind of adopted a community there. They've adopted me. Um, I've got the 2 young men that I call my sons. They call me mom. Um, I've also kind of adopted, kind of mentored a young single mother who is now a teacher. Um, it's and I have sort of I know about a lot of the students there. We talk about that. Um,
You
and
adopted this community.
yeah, the grandparents they thought I would be going to Uganda a lot sooner than I'm able to, so they had a chicken for me. I haven't been able to go get my chicken yet.
That's the sweetest. Colleen, you're so wonderful. Next in the order, I was going to say pecking order for your chicken. Darren, 3.5.
Yeah, I kind of had the same problems that KP Dubs had. Yeah, just like a bit like the last time we chatted, the enemies to lovers thing just didn't do it for me, and they better stay enemies. I should say at the end of
Well,
all
after
that.
this one, yes.
But
I think that what?
yeah, I like the end. I like where, yeah, I'm interested to see where it's going, see where it goes. So it ended strong, but there were definitely a lot of weak parts. I didn't like the first half as much as like KP Dubs did, so I was a bit hit or miss with things. Like I thought the whole chunk in the desert was pointless.
Oh,
So like there was chunks of the book that I'm kind of just sort of like, it was sort of meh to me. So
that's what KP said as well. There's just parts where you could just be like, whoop, not necessary, not needed. I don't get as impacted by the YA stuff as I think other people do, but I read YA, so I have more resilience. Steph, you gave it a 4 out of 5. We got you, Steph? Hello? Do we have a Steph? We do not have a Steph. Well, she gave it a 4 out of 5. Robin, you gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, Anan is my least favorite character of all time now. I hate him so much. He really is. But I agree with what Darren said, the whole like desert part. I was just like thinking in my head, why would they ever do that fight with like 30 ships in there? Like how much money they're losing building these ships. It just didn't make any sense to me at all.
It was a little nonsensical, but I feel like it's the, you know, as someone who writes D&D campaigns, you must discover, find, retrieve 3 ancient artifacts. And it's like one's protected, one's hidden, and one must be earned. And it's like, what do you do? The problem is, you're right, in the desert, a lot of the stuff actually contradicted itself a little bit, which is why I gave it the 0.5 off. And Anan contradicts himself as a character a little bit as well. So I docked a little bit for that. JS4L Yo also gave it a 4 out of 5. Lisa, you gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it might be more closer to like a 3.75. I'm like you. The YA doesn't bother me. I've read so much YA in my life. I love it. Some's better than others, but I think what everyone else is saying is kind of true. There's parts of it that kind of just didn't make sense to me. And I feel like, I mean, obviously the book would have been a lot shorter, but I feel like stupid things like them deciding to have a celebration instead of just going to go do the ceremony right away, like they would have, none of this shit would have happened.
Yeah, you went into town to get supplies and it looked suspicious and we followed you back.
Yeah, like
no shit.
Nonsensical stuff like that.
Yeah.
To me,
Yeah.
but I still really enjoyed the story and I'm excited to see kind of where it goes. So
okay,
I will continue reading.
Okay. Vaden, you also gave it a 4 out of 5?
Yeah, I definitely enjoyed it a lot. The theming seems really good. Like I felt like they constantly talked about the parents, about the power of magic and why it's scary, and like we got to see more examples of why it's scary. So that was good. Like when they attacked the village, they enter the end, and and then they it was a zoo, I believe it was
fire.
Yeah, the fire got.
Yeah,
they just absolutely destroyed the Imperial troops, and it's like and super quick. Like it was not even a fight.
It became like a supernova.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. But like, yeah, I did enjoy that. I just sports I didn't like as much where Peel mentioned the desert part and the part involving the I kind of didn't like how like every time they rested at all, they took a break. They're like, okay, let's go to the water and hang out. Let's go and let's finally have some peace for a bit. No, horrible things are going to happen to you immediately afterwards. And it happened earlier too. It's like they took a break, and as soon as they took a break, it's like nope, they could come up with immediately somehow. Everyone's always on immediately. It's just there's no escape.
Well, that's actually a really good writing device. It happens in the Dresden Files as well, and I can start feeling like anxiety from. He's like, Dresden, I am exhausted. I have not slept for like 32 hours. I am breaking point. As soon as I rest my eyes, my phone rings and I realize I have to go do it. And I'm like, just sleep, please. You're hurting. And it creates like a level of anxiety for it. And I feel like that's the same thing here. When you're getting chased, when there is a deadline of the solstice, when there's like, all these things and they finally rest. Yeah, it is like you just don't have time. And so there's like an element of feeling the pressure of that. I didn't feel it as much here. I feel it much more when Dresden doesn't sleep, because that is an absolute affinity to me. Like, how dare you not let someone sleep 8 hours a night?
Yeah, I want them to just like pick the phone up and say no, and then just and say, that's it.
Not right now, not my problem. Mm-mm.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, unfortunately as a reader, because we read a lot of books, it's like, something bad's gonna happen, so that anxiety builds as a reader, and it's like, so it becomes so predictable. But yeah, it's unfortunate.
Okay. Tap is Pianki. Hello, Pianki. Lovely to see you over here. Captain Tater Tot said 4.5 out of 5. Book good. Only nitpick is that it feels too much like a YA novel. I enjoyed everything else. JS says there's several themes in this book that all deal from a certain perspective. I thought it was really cool. Vaden says, yes, this book does a good job with consistent themes. KP Dubs, thank you so much for the super chat. I saw it this time. Yay! Thank you so much for that. I do appreciate it. Academic. Oh, hold on. This is a catch-22 combo that I'm not privy to. Oh, the side quest. Sally says, oh, I've never heard of this book. It's fantastic. It is our book club for the month. Oh, you guys are going through memory lane. That's fun. Love it. Steph says, I liked the lead up to the enemies to lovers, but in the end it fell short. Was also a bit disappointed with the ending. So much happens, and we're going to go over it all. Pianki says, oh, we have tons of time. Let's just waste days. So inevitable bad things can happen to force us to end this and at the last moment possible. Kwame, that's it. Put the Kwame on them. A champagne supernova. Wow. I'm all caught up now. Did anyone not tell the score? Anisha, what'd you give this one out of 5?
I was looking for this chat. So I solid 5 out of 5, basically for all the reasons that have been stated. With the only one missing is that I literally had every emotion and still wanted to read this. Like, I got mad. I was, societally mad, just angry at not the characters, other than Anon. Like, we don't like him. But and the king, like, really mad at him. But really, really mad. Really, really happy. I mean, we had our YA moments. We had everything, and it kept the whole story, I felt, moving for me. Like, it was just like, I still need to know what happens next. And I mean, it was good and bad, everything, all in one book with an adventure. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I did dock a little bit because Anan, I was just like, that doesn't make sense. But I felt the same way. I felt like there was like, I was constantly in. I was in the book. Academic, did you rate this one?
Who, me?
Oh, Academic.
No,
Oh.
I never got a chance to read it. This month has been busy work-wise. It is still on my TBR, so I will go back and I will give it its flowers.
Wait,
Well,
there's a
I'm about
movie.
to-
There's a movie
Yeah.
coming out in 2027, so you might not want to read this yet.
January.
Don't tell him.
You shouldn't have told him.
I'm also about to spoil the ending right now.
All
Like,
right.
beat by beat.
All right, so then I will see you all later. I love you all. Maybe I'll catch
No,
you
come
at the
back
end.
in like 10 minutes, but I'm gonna hit the ending first, and then we're gonna go over themes and character development. We're gonna spoil the whole thing though.
Yeah, exactly. I'll come back at the end. I'll
Oh,
come
you're
back.
so sweet.
Yeah.
Do we think that Academic will like this one? I do. I think you'll really
Okay.
dig it.
All right.
I
Lovely.
think you'll dig it. All right, let's get that ending happening. All right, so they have to reach the sacred temple to begin the ritual to restore the magic, knowing that it requires the royal blood, a scroll, and a sunstone. The royal blood, the blood of the magi. KPW says, I think I'll like it. What book are we reviewing? I'm trying to, this is the only kind of evidence that I have. It's the tiniest little book image. I can't really put one up any other way. I can edit the video title while we're doing this. All right. Save. Even though we're live, does that work? Does it work? Yay, it did. Great. Sweet. Okay, the ending. Amari fully commits to the ritual, accepting that her royal lineage is essential to bringing magic back, even if it does put her in direct opposition to her father and her brother. Then, of course, King Saran launches a violent assault on the temple to stop the ritual at all costs, turning the sacred ceremony into a battlefield. And Nan arrives torn between loyalty to his father, which you killed his lover. You got magic, like you. It's fine. And his connection to Zaylee, still believing that he can control the outcome as the ritual intensifies Zaylee's force to confront her desire for revenge. Restoring magic requires clarity and sacrifice and not rage. Wait, this is not. Anan brings out her father And this is where shit, I think, turns. This is where it like gets really, really bad. This is where it's like an oh shit moment. Saran is the worst father. I mean, yeah. Lol, Maude pointing to the wrong corner. Is it that way? I'm backwards. Oh dear. It is too. It's right there. Cool. Anand brings out Baba, and he's basically saying, you don't need to do this. All you have to do is destroy the scroll and everything's going to be okay. Like, we don't need to do that. And of course, Ailey's like, that's not how this goes. Like, I have to do it. Please don't put me in this position. But what's so interesting, and I didn't really see this coming, and I wonder if anyone else sort of saw this. When Baba does pass, his spiritual energy is channeled into her. And this is where I think her being a reaper is so freaking cool. In his death provided the catalyst to get her out of her own way. Her suffering and her anger and vengeance has been like squashing her magic, but the abuse that she took, and we're going to go into that as well, like she has been branded, she has been tortured, and it has kind of like completely snuffed out her will to have magic inside of her. And it's her dead father's spirit who kind of like supercharges her. But Anan realizes that the scroll, he can't destroy the scroll. It has to be Zaylee, and does a really horrible thing. And this is the point of no return. And I think Anan himself even knows that. This is I'm going to do this. It will sever ties with Zaylee for the rest of my life. But don't worry, my dad will be proud of me for this. He baits her. He baits her into saying that Baba's death is on her hands. Probably her mother's death is on her hands, that this is all her fault. And he's saying like unforgivable things, knowing that she's going to arm her Reaper energy at him, and he lifts the scroll and it destroys it. And so Zaylee realizes that her power is the reason that the scroll got destroyed. I hated everything about that moment. I hated Anan in that moment. What he has done is absolutely unforgivable. And of course, one of the mercenaries is trying to kill Sauron from behind. Close to Sauron, isn't it? Sauron. And Anan sees this and knows that his dad's about to get wrecked. And so he uses his powers, his psychic powers and abilities, and it's a blue blast that holds this mercenary in a psychic lock in a way. And two things happen in this instance, and that is Sauron sees that his son is a magi and has used powers in front of him. And the residue of the psychic damage of that spell that was used on the mercenary is exactly what was found. These blue sort of balls of like energy is what was found on Kaya's body. So in that one fell swoop, Sauron realizes his son's a magi and his son is also who killed his lover. And so what does his dad do? Puts a sword through him, kills him, essentially. Tries to, just ends it. And then Amari comes out and challenges her father. So then there's a showdown. So much is happening like the whole time. Sauron definitely put a wrap on that. It doesn't even matter that Anan saved his father. Exactly. And like, this is what you're supposed to feel in that moment. But it's like, if he just hesitated for a second, and I wish there was a little bit more of a moment for Anan where it's like, if I let this mercenary kill my father, all my problems go away. All the problems go away. But he'd convinced himself that magic was the problem. But he just used magic. So is it the problem or is it the thing that saves people? You know, it can't be both. And I wish that there was a little bit more of an apprehension, which is what we got with Amari, right? Amari tries to do the killing blow and she takes a beat. She's like, I can't be the person that I can't be just as bad as them. I can't be a killer while trying to stop killing. But Anan never got that. And I feel like Anan was just missing enough of introspection and understanding with his character, because it's like, if he just didn't see it, dad would be dead. And it's like, cool. And then he could try and unify Zaylee in a way, or just try to talk to her, or have all that drama without his dad, and he would be king, right? So like, where was that motivation? Amari's here going, I'm going to be the future queen. Yeah, hell yeah, I'm queen. I'm queen. And Anan never once had that thought that all of this training was to become a king. He is a non-factor for me. A non-factor. Nice. Got it. Thanks, James. So I guess in this moment, like the ending, what did we think about all of it? Was it too much, too fast? Did it make sense? Were you angry with it? While we're all thinking of that, Andre says, kind of new to this channel, has there been a review to the Broken Earth series by N.K. Jemisin? There actually has. We did the first book about, how long ago was that one? Nearly a year ago? Not quite a year ago? About 7 months ago, I think?
August 2024.
August last year, we did that book. The year
2024.
before.
Yeah.
2 Augusts ago, we did that book. Holy hell, I still remember reading it. Like it was the other day. JS says, what can I say? He was inundated with grief. Oh, great puns, everyone. I think it can be both, says Colleen. A lot of good discoveries are turned into weapons. Correct. Anan discovering he was Magi and then wanting to kill all the Magi never clicked. Never made sense to me. I will kill everyone, but I'm okay. Where's the logic in that? But yeah, my question is, I guess, around the end, with all of that stuff happening. Oh, and then of course, Zaylee got to visit her mother, who is the goddess. Her mum is the goddess. Is that what we took from that? Or just is wearing the face? Or is like literally the children of blood and bone? Like, what was that about? What is everyone's...
I think she was just portrayed at that moment as the goddess. I think she just kind of assumed that characteristic, emerging sort of with the goddess. I don't think she was the goddess, at least not before that point.
But it nearly backfired. And so if the goddess was sort of assuming her mother's face, Zaylee was like, I don't want to go back out there. I want to stay with you. Like my mom and my dad are both here. I miss you guys so much. I want to, like, this is where I would rather be. So if a goddess is like trying to set her up as like a soldier or a warrior by showing her mom's face, I actually think was not good. And then keeping her in the dark. You'll find out soon enough all the answers to your questions. I'm like, you're literally the goddess. Like, just say everything. Let's just have a little powwow. Get caught up. Get on the same page. No? Like, you must figure it out on your own. Cop out, says who? Toaster Poster says someone took my handle. Who would take Toaster Poster? Who would take Toaster Poster indeed? Lovely to see you here. Pianki says too many things that just didn't make sense are a large part of why the book only got a 3.5 for me. That's not how they spell divine intervention. What? The spell divine intervention works, Maude, and you know it. How does divine intervention work in D&D? I haven't cast it.
It's always very vague. Like your god or goddess will show up and be like, oh, you need to proceed with your plan, and they don't ever help you. It's a high level spell that doesn't do anything.
It's always that you need to figure it out. It's like, why don't you just tell me? I didn't realize you're on YouTube today, says Brush Kid. I know it should be streaming to Twitch, but it's not. No good reason why. And Colleen says, I don't know that Anan wanted to kill all the Magi. He just wanted to end magic. Okay, yeah. So that's how Anan was better than his father. The father was like, we need to eradicate all of them. Anyone who can wield magic must be destroyed. And Anan's like, okay, let's just not awaken magic because people could harness magic that are not good. And we had those comparisons last week, which is what I'll always bring up if there's magic, is X-Men. Just because you have a power doesn't mean you're good. Doesn't mean you use it for good. I mean, it took 5 years to convince for everyone to convince me not to have mind manipulation as a power. Even though
you still want it, don't you?
I think I'm good. But you know. I was also thinking that, like, at the end, when we need to talk about the kind of cliffhanger-y ending, um, but it's like she has the scroll and she's like, everyone tap the scroll, see what awakens, and someone's like, yes, I'm a burner. Someone else was like, yes, I've got the disease one. Someone's like, I'm a tamer. Shit, I guess I'm sitting this one out. I was just thinking about that, where you're like, oh my god, I'm gonna get my power and I'll talk to a cat. Cool. I guess.
I mean, fair. I mean, that could have been so much cooler. Like maybe like Tamer could like summon the animals too. Like that'd be, you could do so much cool stuff with that. Like I don't know.
Yeah, but
I
it's
feel
like, hey, animals, now that we can talk, would you like to die for me? Like, we preferred it when we couldn't communicate because we're good, thank you. No, like, we're fine. Ask someone else. You know what I mean? I always thought about that with
Yeah, I mean,
the tamer version of that in My Hero Academia. It would, like, he would use a swoop of birds to attack, and I'm like, man, those birds didn't want to be a part of this until he told them to. That's shit.
yeah.
Okay, well, that was the ending. The ending though is, hold on, I'm going into show chat just in case anything is there. There we go. Phantom Aria says it's a 4 out of 5 for me. Tell me why. Why 4.4 out of 5? Why 4? Okay. The ending is magic's not necessarily brought back. Zaylee couldn't resurrect the scroll, even though I thought that'd be really cool. What if there was like a soul harnessed in the spell of the scroll, and she could resurrect that just like her mother brought back Zane? I was like, oh, that'd be so cool. She's like, I could resurrect the scroll. Didn't happen. But what did happen was magic was released, and the last thing we see on the very last page is Amari with a crackling storm in her hand. Now, Amari beforehand was not a magi. Her brother started becoming one. She never harnessed any powers, but now here, I think I have the understanding that anyone with a royal lineage or royal blood has now been awakened as a magi. Does that mean Sauron, Saran, is also going to be a magi? Because if he's a burner, they're fucked.
I was thinking that so what Zaylee did was she started to use the blood of her ancestors, generation after generation after generation of bloodlines, to connect everyone and everything. If she did that for everyone, then yeah, somehow anyone who was related to Anan might get a piece of powers, or just she literally connected all of humanity and now everyone has powers. I'm not sure which, but either way, it's very intriguing.
And Amari has, do we have I think I posted it in the last show chat, but we've just got pictures of all of our family members that I have to scroll past. Because that was a conversation that we had. We had our rating systems in there as well. Did I not tag it? Oh, actually, was it in the Children of Blood and Bone discussion? Yes. Comet. Thank you, Comet. Posted this. There is the Reaper, Connector, which is what Anan is, a Tider, a Burner, Tamer, Seer, which I don't think we've really seen yet, Healer and Cancer, Lighter. That's of darkness and of light. That's what Binti was. Grounder and a Welder and a Winder. What do we think Amari is if she basically summoned a storm? That's got to be a Winder, no? Mama Akbar was the Seer. She has unlimited power. Amari has the streak. Yes, she did. She had the streak, just like she was a little girl and loved streak. KP Dubs, I read that out loud. Okay, on the stream. What do we think Amari is? Surely she's a Winder, Magi of Air, creating the storm. Is that a part of that? Or is it? It's not a lighter because we've already seen what Binti did with light, and it was like emanate light. But if she's creating little thunderstorms instead of like, then that sounds like she's going to be powerful. I'm going to pin that if anyone wants to see all of the different clans there.
I was just
Jay Bunt. Oh, Jay Bunt Rock said my score for this was a 3 out of 5 for a while due to my issues with the third act, but that ending pulled it up to a 4 out of 5. It set up the rest of the story enough for me to want to check out the second book. Surprised myself for liking it at the end, as it had a couple of my pet peeves, but I felt ultimately that I enjoyed the story. Now I need to know, what are your pet peeves? If you don't know, guys, we have a free Discord for everyone where we can chat about the book throughout the week. So head over there. It's discord.gg/Maude Garrett. Garrett. Is my mic low? Everyone's just shitting on Riverside.
sounds good.
That sounds good. Goodo.
I was gonna ask, like, do people think that the ending of like everyone's powers or people's powers coming back, not just the Claire Magi, or is that kind of like reinforce the themes or make it kind of like make it feel like it was all that time wasn't worth it, like it felt like undermined it instead of, because the idea behind like we have to stop these people, they're Magi, they're separate from us, and now you find not really separate, it's actually a bunch of us are a Magi, actually Magi, I just didn't know. And now it's like much more prevalent than it, originally thought. Now that the magic's back.
Why? Because everyone's got it.
Yeah, it's like it becoming like an equalizer essentially. Like, oh, that's not just like a thing they have. It's now everyone's got this. So your powers might not be as cool as someone else's, but you still got something.
You brought up a really interesting point before, and that's what is the mercenary's name? Starts with R. Ronan. Roman.
Rowan.
Rowan has no powers, and yet he was able to incapacitate a ship with his crew in like 7 minutes, no kills. What is he going to be like if he has powers? Is that an equalizer? Absolutely not.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're still like, if you have skill and you have powers and you're better than someone who has just powers, no skill, but still, yeah, it help people who are more defenseless, I guess, and don't have anything. But yeah, for people like that who are already dangerous, then it's going to just multiply their powers, multiply their ability to kill people or whatever, like much more than the average person. So yeah,
but not all of the abilities are offensive magic. Like,
that's true.
Rowan could become a seer, and that could help him, I guess, in like plotting, because he can see outcomes. But or if he's a tamer, I keep giving shit to the tamer.
Give him a parrot.
Yeah, that's it, right? The dolphins will just like target. I just got the giggles of like everyone's getting their powers, and I'm just like, yeah, what am I? Cool tamer. And I just immediately thought of that Family Guy episode where they all get their superpowers and Meg gets long nails, like 3-inch nails. And I'm like, fire.
Yeah, I actually love that stuff because like I remember from Fourth Wing there was that one character who was like, my power was like, I think it was like breathing underwater or something like that, or something that,
so dumb.
That's actually not that bad of ability, but it never came into play. You think they would do something with it, cool, but no. So I love that. I love having one person with like powers.
You want feather fall or something. So if you fall off your dragon, you don't die. But like, when are they ever underwater? Like, I don't even know if they're having baths. Like so that whole. I mean, I'm so intrigued by it, but it's the thing where it's a randomly assigned power. That's what I really loved about Vicious, where it's like whatever your final moment was, that's what kind of brought the power to life. And that was really interesting how that happened. JS4 says he has the power of heart. I don't know who that is. KBW says Scott Pilgrim has unlocked the power of self-respect. A tamer could turn cavalry mounts against them. That is very powerful. I guess. Yeah, any of the mounts. But can you get it to do thy bidding, or is it just communication? We don't really know.
If you get like an army of like Nylas, that'd be awesome.
Toaster Poster says, I just realized that this book is a prequel without feeling like a prequel. I want to learn more about that. Why does this feel like a prequel to you? Because it's like the adventure campaign. It's the before the magic comes back. I mean, this is technically the prequel was magic being taken away 10 years prior. Like that was sort of the prequel discussion. Here are some discussion points. Let's go through some since we are an hour in. Inan is not a redemption arc. He's proof that proximity to oppression doesn't undo indoctrination, and feeling Zaylee's pain makes his betrayal worse, not better. I feel like Inan did so many like unforgivable things at the end there for a cause that he thought was just, which turned on him immediately. Like he bet on the wrong horse essentially, and he cost him the one person that actually loved him. Ugh. Even like Amari was kind of like, yeah, my brother's not great.
One of the things, I don't know if this is the time to bring this up or not,
Let's find out.
as far as themes go, but one of the things that really struck me was all of the, both Anan and Saran were terrified and horrified by the power of magic and all the destruction it could cause. But they never addressed the fact that these diviners, even without magic, were constantly being persecuted.
Yeah.
They were sold to the stalkers. They were, treated as slaves. They were punished and taxed just kind of at a whim. So I kept thinking, when you try and I mean, the prejudice was there with or without the magic. Magic was the justification for it. This happened once, so, you're all bad, you're all evil.
Yeah.
But also, watching or seeing how Zedley's attitude kind of developed, her desire for revenge. It's the more you oppress people, the more likely you are to radicalize them.
Yes.
I mean, you see that happening in the world. Everyone is horrified that we have to wipe out Gaza because of Hamas. Well, all you're doing is radicalizing people who just want to live their lives.
Yeah.
You're creating. I think we did that with ISIS to some extent. You're creating a situation that's going to make them want revenge. A lot of times we see what's happening right now with all the racism is that you're afraid if we get equal rights, we're going to treat you like you treat us. And that's really what it boils down to.
Yeah, wow. We're so scared that we've been successfully oppressing you for so long that should we give you equality, we will be overpowered and yeah, you'll fight back. It's a through line in the book. If they burn our houses, we burn their houses. It's like you have to retaliate. Whatever they do to us, we have to do it back to them. And it is having this fight. It is recognizing I don't want to keep being oppressed. If we just kind of take this, then it's all over. We have to fight back. And whatever they do to us, we need to do it to them, because that is actually how you do equalize, right? That's That's what's fair. But in saying that, death begets death, begets death, begets death. KP.
Yeah, you brought up a line that Baba said, and like towards the very end, even he is so contradictory. That's part of the reason I didn't give this book a higher rating. Because like she's about ready to kill everything, and he says, I don't know where to go. He says, "No." Baba's voice rings in my head, strong and steady. "Revenge is meaningless. There's still time to make this right." And when she says how, and he goes in to say, "As long as we don't have magic, they will never treat us with respect. They need to know we can hit them back. If they burn our homes, we burn theirs." Okay, so is it about revenge or not? I don't
Yeah,
even
that's
understand,
confusing.
and I don't understand. Right?
In the same
If
breath,
he doesn't
yeah.
know,
Well, I think that's not necessarily like revenge. I don't understand what you mean, but I think like I think it's the idea of like to do things for more for intent for like justice purposes, not for revenge. If you're lashing out to hurt people specifically, not to try to repair problems or try to like trying to fight back is one thing, but like attacking people for the because the to hurt them specifically is a problem regardless of the justification. Like if you're trying to stop people from if you're trying to create a situation where like okay, hey, stop attacking us because otherwise we can get back at you, but it's not the same thing. It's just a big difference between justice and revenge. I know it gets muddled a lot.
Yeah, and what
I think I hear what you're saying. Sorry, yes, Nisha.
I thought what he just said was exactly why her father stopped her at the end, because she was going to burn herself, like she was going too far, like just burning herself out, trying to take revenge instead of trying to fight for
Retaliate.
bringing magic back.
Yeah, got it, got it. It became all consuming. I want to read this discussion point again because I think it's really powerful in a way. Anan is not a redemption arc. He's proof that proximity to oppression, because he never experienced it, right? He experienced sort of a dickish dad that was pushing him under the thumb and was sort of abusive in his parenting and expectations, but he didn't live an oppressed life. And spending time with Zaylee's big impact on him, which was for fucking naught, which sucks. I'm mad with Zaylee at this stage. She was like, "You're not walking in our shoes. You don't understand what this is like. You're not being called slurs. You are not being oppressed just for how you live. Your village wasn't burned down. Your mum wasn't killed just for her being who she was, and your dad wasn't beaten just for proximity." But he's been so indoctrinated by his dad that even being around Zaylee and seeing it, it doesn't undo just how powerful the brainwashing and indoctrination of his childhood has. And he ends up, and this is what I think is a really horrible thing, is when someone is vulnerable and they're like, "This is what my pain is. This is how I've been hurt. This is what has been really raw for me." And someone takes that and weaponizes it. And the magic power that he has, he can feel Zaylee's emotions. He's understanding, literally not even walking in her shoes. He is like existing in her and understanding like her emotions and reasoning behind it all. And he manipulates that. He exploits that. He uses that against her, which is why the betrayal was so bad. Let's talk about Zaylee's rage. We talked about it a lot last week, but Zaylee's rage is justified, but it does make her a volatile leader. The book questions whether trauma-fueled leadership can ever build something stable. Do you believe that Zaylee, with rage-filled trauma, makes her a questionable leader? Or do you think that that level of passion is the drive that is required?
I don't think that level of passion is required, but I think for her it can work. I think for anyone it can work. I think whatever gets you to the point where you feel like a cause is important enough for you to do something, you can get knowledge later, but you got to have a passion to keep going. So I think she can be tamed. She can be driven by the right, court if she, ends up with a group of people that help her. But having a passion to do something that's actually the right thing, I think is.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It can be a slippery slope. It can start going into this vengeance, this revenge mantra instead of rebuilding and making things better. And that's the thing. The volatility, like the rage, is justified. She has every right to be that mad and that angry. She's experienced depression. She's had horrible things done to her and her family. So the rage is justified. But given a lot of power, is she stable enough with that rage to not snowball, I guess? And that's, I think, what we're going to find out in the second book. Like, now that everyone's kind of got magic, are they able to fall in line or have good leadership where it's like they're doing the right thing? What is the right thing? And I feel like Amari is going to be the beacon of stability. I think Amari has, yes, she's been raised very privileged in comparison. So she doesn't necessarily have that rage, but she was impacted directly by her father's actions, who killed someone that she loved. I feel like she can take that step back and look at both sides a little bit better. And now that she's got magical abilities, I think that maybe she's already been able to tame or soothe Zaylee and build her back up, actually. One of my favorite chapters in this book was Amari braiding Zaylee's hair. I thought that was such a beautiful thing. And this is when, like, Rowan was like, hey, if you need someone to talk, come by my room tonight. And we're all like, we know what you really mean. And instead, she goes straight to Amari's room. And when you look at the beginning of the book, where Zaylee couldn't stand her, thought that she was born with a silver spoon in her mouth, had never experienced depression, didn't understand the severity of this fight, thought she was like way too privileged to be able to make an impact at all. But Amari is really, really good for Zaylee. And I think that they're going to be, the more unified they are, the stronger they're going to be. And I think Amari is the one that can soothe Zaylee, talk her off the ledge, remind her what's important and to not go too far. So there's something really beautiful with that relationship. And I'm really glad that I saw it here and that it wasn't sort of like the guy rescued me. It was their budding friendship that was really beautiful. And, I think that talking about black hair is really important. And I think it was done in a subtle but a really effective way here. Not only does it change color if you're a magi, but it changes the consistency of the hair. And the more sort of coarse and curly it is, the more attractive it is. And I can only imagine, but I would think that, celebrating that hair for a Black culture is so important. And I loved seeing it in this book as well. And that, she became and was transformed into a warrior when it was braided as well. There you go. It leads me to the next point, which is Amari is the true moral center of the story. She chooses restraint over vengeance, even when she has every reason not to. I think Amari becoming queen is like something I'm really looking forward to in the series. Now, here's the discussion as well. The return of magic doesn't actually fix oppression. It just destabilizes the kingdom and proves systemic hatred doesn't actually vanish when power shifts. So this is kind of what we were talking about before. It's like, if you have equality, does it actually, does it make pain and hatred go away? No, not at all. And it's never an easy solution, which is why there's been conflict so often and for so long. What do you feel will happen? Is there a way that magic can somewhat fix oppression? I guess they can fight back a bit better. It destabilizes the kingdom and proves that systemic hatred doesn't vanish when power shifts. Systemic hatred, how do you solve that? because I feel like the pendulum swing is you need to acknowledge the hatred that exists instead of just like forgiving and it's all forgotten. No harm, no foul. Many harms, lots of fouls. You can't eradicate the past by just simply, saying, well, that was bad then, but it doesn't have to exist anymore. I know that a big eye opener for me learning about America's racism was I don't see color, and hearing why that actually wasn't helpful. Because I thought that it's like, yeah, if we just all become human beings, like that is literally the one race that exists. Everything else is an ethnicity. So let's go back to it being a human race. We are all people. And what I learned being in America, which I was like, I never thought of that, was when you choose to not see me as my ethnicity, you eradicate what that comes with. You ignore the fact of how hard it has been for me. You choose to not acknowledge the oppression that I've faced. So I do want to be seen and acknowledged as my ethnicity because it's a big part of me. So when you say I don't see color, you are, erasing the history of that. And I was like, man, that's really good to know and really like fascinating to sort of like understand in that way. Me being an Australian being like, I don't really get it. And learning that was like, oh, okay. So we need to acknowledge and almost respect the sordid history that exists because it's something that generations have lived through. But then how do you move forward with it all? What is the solution? I mean, I love the fact that this is even a conversation that's happening because that's exactly what Tomi Adeyemi is trying to address. And I want to talk about the end of her book, the author's note, because that hit me big time. She was writing this during the pandemic. And a huge Black Lives Matter movement was happening there as well. I have...
I kind of to answer your question,
Yeah.
I think the first step is education.
Yes.
We're just beginning to learn how much of Black history was never addressed, how much of Native history has never been addressed.
Correct.
We need to learn, and that's the first step in understanding. We can't experience what someone else has experienced, but we can learn from it and become more empathetic, and see what we each have to offer. There's a lot to build on there.
I do think learning is important. It's a big thing that I did moving to America. It was just like, right, I'm just here. I have questions and I want to learn. And it was even interesting finding out, like, just because you have a question doesn't mean they have to answer. And that was like really interesting as well, where it's like, just because I'm wanting to learn more about it, like, how many times have they had to have that discussion? How many times do they need to wear this responsibility that they haven't chosen because they didn't ask for it? But here I am, just because I'm inquisitive, I get rewarded by them becoming a teacher in that situation. Yeah, it is really interesting. But I do think learning is the big part. I think we've had a conversation before as well, where it's like ignorance isn't an excuse. And I'm like, actually, ignorance is literally saying, I don't know. And saying, I don't know, if used as a way to get out of it by not ever knowing, that's weaponized sort of naivety. Choosing to stay ignorant is an issue. But if someone's like, I don't know, then it's like, great. The cure to that is learning. So I agree what you're saying, Colleen. But would really, really help if the American education system didn't eradicate the histories. So when you actually are at school to learn about it, it's not been changed. That's a fuck up. Next. Let's talk about King Saran as the villain. He's terrifying because he believes he's right. Fear-driven leadership disguised as protection is the most dangerous kind. Agree, disagree? Fear-driven leadership disguised as protection.
I mean, I would agree.
It's an abuse tactic is what it is. It's, I don't want to do this to you. I don't want these things to happen to you. But if you don't fall in line, I'll be forced to hurt you.
Yeah, like we talked about last stream, but like it's a very extremely common tactic by authoritarian leaders, and it's always abused. Like it's interesting how much, especially when they start taking away people's freedoms to accomplish this mission. You know, like the famous quote that's like what's the famous quote? The famous quote that's like, you know, basically that talks about how like give me up, give me, you know, your freedom for safety is. I'll have to find actually, but yeah, it's always a problem. It's never going to work out the way. Never going to work. But we're working out for the people who are supposed to be being protected. It's just a tactic to take control.
Yeah, it's a way to control anything fear-based, which is why I have a problem with some religion that uses fear. If you don't do these things, you are going to spend eternity in hell. Well, that doesn't make someone want to be a good person. It makes them feel like they have to be a good person. And that intent is super important, I feel. I want to talk about the relationship between Anan and Zaylee. When it did make sense, why did it make sense? Anan, I don't think maybe, loves Zaylee as much as he loves the idea of being different from his father. His identity crisis is fueling his attraction. So yes, Zaylee is becoming a voice of reason. He does have an attraction to her, but he's coping with his identity crisis of, I'm supposed to kill all magi. I am one now. So are you. If you accept me, my father never will. That's like, you know, I love you because you feel safe because my father isn't. What do you feel about, like, I don't feel like if you love someone, you would do what Anan did. So there's just I cannot suggest that Anan loved Zaylee. I really can't for what he did. He loves the idea of being accepted by his father more and will always would. And now it's tried to kill him. So like, good on you, bud. But what do you feel about Anan and Zaylee's relationship? Did Zaylee truly love Anan? She was able to forgive him for some big things.
I think it's a Tamlin and Farah relationship.
Okay. You think that the trauma that they hold is just means that they're not compatible, and the toxicity comes from not being able to handle each other's trauma?
Yes.
That makes perfect sense to me. It's Tamlin and Freyra. Say less. Got it. Yep. They're not necessarily bad people. Anan's pretty fucking bad for what he did. They're not necessarily bad people, but they are not good. They can't be good to each other or good for each other. Yes. All right. Any other conversations about Anan and Zaylee's relationship? Did you like it? Was it too YA? Cool. Moving on. Katie, I saw you have a question in the in the channel, and I actually had a very, very similar question. And that is, you gave it a 5 out of 5, first of all. Did you talk about why you loved it?
I just really like the book. I like the hero journey. I like the different perspectives. I was not expecting the ending, so that's what really gave it the 5 out of 5 of like, it stopped. I want more. It left me wanting more.
Yeah.
And I like the character development. You could really see everybody's motivation, why they thought the way they did.
Yeah.
So.
You also said, do you think the gods walk among the people but are hidden? The god question that I had was looking at mythology in fantasy, when there is religion and where there is mythology and worship and there's gods there. Do you find it to be more convincing if the gods stay a mythology, so you worship it and they're not personified, or do you prefer it when gods are personified, where they're tangible and the gods are actually able to communicate and to give and offer blessings instead of it being like a great beyond unknown? What's your preference?
For me, I don't know
Yeah.
if anybody else wants to answer. I like when the gods are involved, when they're personified, because they're characters in the story. I want to see more about them. I want to see, again, their motivations. Why are they doing what they're doing? Instead of, oh, this is the mother. Okay, but why? Why
It
is she doing
also
this?
it legitimizes worship.
Yes, I
You
agree.
pray because they can be answered. And it also goes with the chosen one, right? You've got Zaylee finally accepting who her God is for being a reaper and starting to pray to that specific God, trying to build that relationship. But it's usually out of like being in a pickle. It's like, I'm so scared. I feel like I'm going to fail. I need you to step in and help me. But I feel like you're right. Like when she did kind of like, use the blood magic to connect blood and bone and, all of the people together, and it was amplified because of her father's spirit, et cetera, and then visited her mother, who was the embodiment of the goddess.
So I think I have a different perspective compared to others because I am very religious. And so I have experience having to pray and having to rely and having that, for me, being confirmed that there is somebody there. I can see why she is strengthened and why she does get that strength she gets when her mother does come. And so I think it's even more powerful.
She didn't want to go back. She wanted to stay. She wanted to
Yeah.
almost stay dead so she could be with her family.
My mom has passed away, and if that were to happen to me, of course I would want to stay. I wouldn't want to leave. That part was very hard for me.
Oh, honey.
So, but I understood why she wanted to stay. Yeah, she still had a journey to continue, but that love that she had for her mom and their bond, I get it.
And it's not being able to say goodbye. It's like that comfort, and like we revert to being a child. When your parent is there and you can hold them and see them, it's like you just want to surrender to being a child again. I totally get that. I don't get to see my parents very often. And when I do, it's like, oh, it's going to be a long hug. That's not letting go for a while kind of thing. So, and I'm a grown-ass woman. So, yeah, I get it. I not as much as you, given the circumstances. Was it a good feeling? Because you said that it got you. Did it get you in a good way? Or
I
was it
have
just
to like disassociate a little bit. Usually it's still
Yeah.
really raw about my
Yeah.
mom passing. So that's why I try not to think too hard. But it was like, yep, I know what that feels like. And then I move on. What's the next part of the story?
Yeah. This is Zaylee's story. Back to Zaylee. Yeah. Are you going to be in the after show?
Yes, I should.
I would like to hear one of your favorite memories about your mom, if that's okay.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Yay. Thank you. Okay. So yeah, the gods walking among people. I like that as well, but then it's like you really do have to build the world building structure around that as well. What does it mean if gods are actually walking? Can they die? Are they bored? What impact do they have? What can they give? Are they warring? Do they get along? Do they communicate? You know what I mean? Like it provides a lot more questions when you do that. When gods and religion and worship becomes vague, you don't have to define it. You don't have to. It's just like, it's kind of like today's religion, where it's like you get to choose how much worship and how much belief you have. You can say, I don't believe it because I need evidence. Other people can say, I've experienced evidence. It can be unique. It can be a part of a community and a culture. But if a god was to sit down next to me and put his hand on my shoulder and be like, hey, I'm Zeus. Here is a lightning bolt that I just constructed in front of you, and watch me throw it, and I just eradicated a building. I'd be like, well, I guess I believe. Sup, buddy? That would just change everything. Would I worship the God that introduced himself to me? Yes, because they are right there, and I would be quite scared and overwhelmed and want them on my side immediately and like not want to piss them off. That's both fear and adoration. Wow, that's wild. So yeah, it is interesting, and I actually thought about that question of the betrayal of gods in fantasy before the ending of the book, where it was like, oh my gosh, we are actually experiencing gods personified here. So that is interesting. Yeah. I'm just trying to think of other fantasy books where gods have played a part. I mean, obviously Circe and Achilles and the Song of Achilles and all that, because it's literally the Greek gods. I'm just trying to think of like another fantasy where religions played a really big role. I feel like
trilogy.
there you go. And there were demigods.
And there was like 6 or 7 gods in that one.
Yeah.
Divine rivals.
Yep.
Also, we just did it, or we did recently the Storm Archive. Yeah.
Yeah, Stormlight's got gods all.
Yep, Stormfather.
Honor.
Yeah. Honor is dead, quite literally. Okay, cool. Next conversation. The ending isn't triumphant. It's ominous, setting up instability, fear, and the likelihood of civil war. But did this make you want to keep reading? Because it's not like a yay, it's a oh god, it's starting. You know, what is happening now? Did you like the ending?
I definitely want to keep reading. I need to know who's got magic, how much they got.
Is Anan dead? Is he going to be the antagonist now that his father's dead? I know. Anan. What a silly, silly boy. The second half of the book. Ooh. This is what I found online, and I don't know if I agree with it. The second half critiques performative allyship. Empathy without action or sacrifice is meaningless. Performative allyship is something that's definitely been discussed in the last few years more than ever. My understanding was something's better than nothing. If someone's trying, do we critique them trying? I've spoken about this as well. I can't stand cancel culture where it's like, oh, what? People get one fuck up and then they never get a chance to learn. You're weaponizing them. When you cancel them and say, it doesn't matter what you do from this point on because you did this one thing that you cannot redeem, that you cannot learn from or grow from, it is irrelevant. You've just turned them into the worst version of themselves and given them permission to stay the worst version of themselves. Performative allyship. I feel like we need so much help that if we start turning on the people that are trying to help, even if it's self-serving, which can be an eye roll in itself, a lot of content creators, there's performative allyship there as well, and people come down on them. You have to prove yourself as an ally. How do you do that? Is it by not promoting it? But then how do we educate if we're not putting it out there? This is where it gets incredibly complicated. What is everyone's understanding about, or what takeaway did you have from the book about performative allyship? What do you feel about it in the modern society?
I can't stand performative anything. It just gets on my nerves. You were talking about pet peeves earlier, and that is one of mine. Just
Do you have an
strongly.
example?
Performative rage. I mean, there was a big issue with one of the Olympic skiers for Team USA saying that, you know, it's a little hard to represent the United States in the Olympics and in a foreign country because
Knowing
of
the
things
shit
that are
that's
going
going
on in
on.
this country. And conservatives lost their freaking minds over it. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, okay, he exercised his First Amendment right, and now you guys are saying he should be stripped of his citizenship. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I know for a fact, and it was the same thing with like the Bad Bunny halftime show. Like
Oh
everybody
yeah.
was so pissed about it. And I kept thinking, you know, name me who was in the halftime show 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Nobody
And
cares about the
and
halftime show after the halftime show.
but like, where is this rage for the truly evil shit that's happening right now?
Yeah, and it's
Where's
purely
that
performative because
rage?
they're not mad. Like they're mad for 5 minutes and then they'll be mad about something else later. And I'm like, be mad about something that matters and then do something about it.
So outrage is a byproduct of media the last 10 years. Media needs people to visit their site to click the link, hence a clickbait. How do we get people to come to our site? How do we get people to click the link and learn more about it? How do we get the viewership? How do we make money? And it's provoking people. And we as a society, like the statistic that always, I remind everyone is, if you have a good experience, you tell 3 people. If you have a bad experience, you'll tell 10. We love outrage. We want to be angry. We want to be like, I can't believe that. It's never, oh, I'm so glad to hear that. Oh, that's really awesome. Oh, you liked it there? That makes me feel warm and tingly. It's you didn't like that. You found a hair. Sternly worded email, text blast of rage. We just want to spread anger and outrage. And I think being chronically fucking online, like we all are now, we don't even realize the subconscious endless feed of rage and clickbait and provocation that we are experiencing. So I think the decline of every single person into rage and outrage and performative rage is astronomical in the last 10 years. And the only cure to that is celebrating wins. I speak about it so much where it's like, find something to be grateful for every single day, because it's so easy to complain and be mad and find things that cause outrage, but it's so much harder to find things that are good. And we really need to recondition and train our brains to look for the good in things, because everything in front of us is doing the opposite. Basil's playing Marvel Rivals.
I was gonna just to add on to that a little bit too, Maud, is it's staggering the amount of energy that people put into being mad about stuff that doesn't matter. Like imagine living and having that much energy wasted on something that's A, doesn't affect your life at all from a day-to-day standpoint, and B, all of that effort could be put to something productive. It just
Love it.
I don't get it. It's weird to me that you'll let a Puerto Rican singer live rent free in your head because the
100%.
NFL chose them to sing in the halftime show, which by the way is the second time he's been in the halftime show. Because he was on it with Shakira, who's also not from isn't actually a US citizen.
Nope.
Bad Bunny is, but nobody was mad about that. And nobody was mad about U2 or Pink Floyd, and that's because they're, white. But and they
There it
speak
is.
English.
Boop, boop.
But again, it's just letting these things live rent free in your head. It's just like, man, you could be doing 100 things that are better than this.
But I mean, you've said it, right? We're festering. We're holding on to this hatred, and we're like, people are just festering. They're rotting inside from holding on to this amount of hatred. I just had like a fun modern contemporary fantasy idea, and that is, you get 10 a year. You get 10 things to lock on and have affect you in a negative way. You get 10 complaints a year. That's it. So you really have to pick and choose what's going to get you into a tizzy. And if as soon as it's the 11th, you have to die on that hill. Are you going to die on that hill? That's the hill you're going to die on. And you get 10. And so we have to recondition all of us. I mean, this sounds like this is the thing. It sounds like it's the antithesis of a Big Brother, where it's forced. You
That's
must like
unfortunate.
everything and you can't feel negative feelings. It's that again, but it's
I'm
like,
gonna die on the hill of why can't people use the on ramp to accelerate to freeway speeds?
I think that's one of mine
That's
too.
perfect. Oh, it's so perfect.
Oh my
It
God.
drives me up the freaking wall.
My mantra, I don't even know that I do this, but like 9 out of every 10 times I'm merging onto a freeway. Do you guys call it a freeway or a highway? I can't remember.
It depends. Freeways and highways both exist in the United States, and they both
Okay.
serve different purposes.
So let's just call it, for the sake of my argument, a freeway, right?
Mhm.
I'm merging, and then I will say it possibly 10 times. It's a freeway. 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 It's a
Mhm.
freeway. Why are we not treating it like it's a freeway? We are going onto it because they're driving 40 miles an hour when it's going to bump up to 60. Oh my God. So that's the thing. I just repeat it the whole time I'm on there. It's a freeway. It's a
I'm the
freeway.
guy behind that person screaming, "The pedal on the right! The pedal on the right!"
You
That's a
guys
good one
can't see
too.
that invisible stop sign that some people can see.
I mean, we just
But
talked
what
about
if
how
that pedal's all the way down and your car just isn't accelerating as fast as you want it to?
When I lived in Virginia, they had yield signs at the end of on ramps, and so people would come to a full stop and wait until there was a time to go through. I'm like, no, it just means yield the right of way if there's a car there, which
Oh
means
my
slow down
God.
2 miles
And
an
if you
hour and let
stop,
them go
it's
by
game
you.
over.
There would
Once
be
you put
Then you get an
crimes.
hour wait. You
There
get an
would be
hour wait.
crimes if someone stops in front of me on an on ramp.
Some of it, I think, sometimes it's poor design. There's an on ramp in Bakersfield that drives me crazy. I know the engineering idea is if you make it long enough, to have time to accelerate. So they make this big long curve, and then it says 35 miles an hour on the curve. So how are you supposed to accelerate?
That's so dumb.
I mean, they literally make you slow down on this on
Hey,
ramp.
hey, Colleen,
It,
can I tell you? Can I tell you a secret I learned from one of my engineering classes that was taught by an engineer from the Department of Transportation? The posted speed limit on the road is 20 miles an hour slower than the design. So when they say go around this corner at 35, you can safely take it at 55. Just put it out there. I'm not telling you to break the law. I'm telling you that you could do it safely.
Well, I told you guys when I was doing the written driving test here so many years ago, I got 2 questions wrong out of all of them. And the 2 questions that I got wrong was, if you're on a freeway and the speed limit is 60 and the traffic is going 70, what must you drive? And I was like, obey the law. You drive 60. You got to follow traffic. And so what did that teach me? I will set the pace. We're going 70.
I'm impressed that you said that, Maude. Like, fine, we're doing 70. I'm doing 75. Let's go.
Let's go. You give me a loophole, I'm going to exploit this loophole. Because this is not, you're telling me I can break the, done. In Australia, you go 3 kilometers over the speed limit. Woo! I'm telling you, Australia makes 80% of its money through road regulations. They're so strict with it. You think about touching your phone, the thought police are like, beep, you wanted to check a tweet. There's a $286 fine and demerit points. We have demerit points in Australia. You can lose your license like that from getting not. So I am a hooey. I will say though, these freeways are so chaotic that my mum, when she was over here, could not even have her eyes open. She had to close her eyes every time we were on a freeway because it was so erratic. No one used an indicator. She was just like, "This is so manic. I can't believe people are alive." And I'm like, "You just adjust." KP, your hand was up.
I was just going to say, I live in Michigan. There were several studies on certain sections of road that were near cities, and so they have lowered the speed limit. They're like, look, higher population density, let's slow people down from 70 or 65 to 55. And what would happen is 90% of the people were still going 70, but those 5% that were going 55 were causing accidents because people would come up on them so fast or change lanes too abruptly. And so when they raised the speed limits back up, the accident levels
Went
dropped like
down.
70%. Yeah.
Wow,
It's way
that's so funny.
safer. Yeah.
The second question that I got wrong, and this is again America in a nutshell. There is an elderly woman on the side of the road. You can tell she's blind and is looking to cross the street. What do you do? Do you stop so that she can cross? Do you slow down to see if she's wanting to cross? And if she does, then you stop. Or do you just keep driving? I'm like, elderly blind woman, I will get out of the goddamn car and walk her across the road. Like, that is the citizen that I am. She needs help. No, you don't slow down. You don't stop. You just keep going. Because if she doesn't put a foot on the road, then she's not a pedestrian. And I'm just like, oh my God, you guys don't even save the women and children first. You just light everything on fire. Got it.
That's
I
what
could not.
crosswalks are for. There's a place
He's blind.
designated for crossing the street. And the
Blind
funny thing
old
is, you
woman.
can say
What, the
blind old
expectations
women,
that
but
she
I
needs-
know for a fact that the crosswalks in Australia make noise.
Yeah, because we're trying to help the
Yeah.
blind people, not America.
Blind, not deaf. They can hear, not deaf. She can hear the engine of your car coming.
Unless you're driving electric.
Yeah, I know.
There are a lot of stoplights here that have the chirping sound too.
Yeah, there are.
Anyway.
Actually, that brings up another point. So many accidents are caused when there's multiple lanes and traffic is backed up into an intersection. So people will stop to let somebody in or go through. And then the person in the other lane is not seen, and that's where the accident happens. So
yeah,
you're like, I'm going to be nice and let somebody cross, but then the lane to my left, bam, somebody gets T-boned. This actually happened to my stepdaughter.
My cousin worked for Geico for a while, and insurance agents call that a sucker hole.
I've seen the video of cars driving in a circle, going the same speed, and they end up in a traffic jam with each other. Have you guys seen that? Like, so there's no hope for not causing jams somewhere.
I've got a few more discussions about the book if we're keen to chat about it. Otherwise, we can talk about what we're mad about lately.
No, please go back to the.
If magic represents marginalized identity, then what does suppressing it really symbolize? And I want to talk about it on an individual level with Anan, who is given magical abilities and tries to suppress it. And I want to talk about it from a whole societal ecosystem where it's like, why are they trying to suppress magic users? If magic represents marginalized identity, what does suppressing it really symbolize? These are like too thought-provoking. I need to is good or bad?
No, I mean, it's a good discussion point. I mean, because like the big theme in the book is suppressing yourself. Like I said, Inan is trying to hide a part of himself. He wants to hide his magic part of himself, so he pushes down his magic, and it hurts him. Like it physically hurts him. And we later find out that he actually had a piece of magicite on him, and that's partially why. Like he was, his dad gave it to him specifically, which makes you wonder a bit. Like, but like, yeah, like it's and it makes sense so thematically and also like physically. He is hurt by expressing his part of himself, and he needs to embrace who he is. That's part of Zaylee's quest too. She has to embrace that she's a magi, embrace her responsibility as a person, and you know, a lot of people are these teenagers are running away from their problems to some degree, and throughout the course of the book they are eventually reckoning with them. So I think it does a good job of that. Like this expressing himself is an important theme in the book.
I like that. Well answered. Is revenge ever a valid form of justice? Is revenge ever a valid form of justice?
No, it's literally a different word for a reason. This is an importantly different word for a reason. Like, I mean, I don't. But it's just revenge is like justice is meant to correct the problem, to be fair to some degree. Revenge is not. Revenge is about unleashing your emotion in a way, or unleashing actions in a way that makes you feel better, at least in the moment, but doesn't solve anything.
I would argue justice is usually in the hands of a system that constantly fails people. So if, great example, God, let's not keep it so dark. Let's say in a family, the father was hurting the children and the mum kills the husband, which is happening a lot. And the woman has been sentenced to 30 years in jail. Is her revenge a valid form of justice? She would have had to have relied on the judicial system, and someone would have been paid, a lawyer, to try and say that he is an innocent man. And because of prejudice and oppression that exists in society, a lot of the time, groups of people are not given fair judgment or fair treatment because these prejudices make others or a jury assume that they're a type of person or they're not a type of person. So when you rely on a judicial system to enforce justice, is that enough? And a lot of the time it's actually not. So I will always be an advocate of the vigilante anti-pedophile groups who are all basically volunteers who try and entrap potential abusers. And even it actually stops young people from getting hurt, children from getting hurt, and they are catching predators and perpetrators themselves. That to me is necessary because the judicial system does not have enough resources to enact it all the time. And a lot is going missing. In fact, a lot of people have been getting away with it lately. So that is a vigilante group who is technically not breaking the law, but that is a type of revenge that I validate.
Well, I can understand why, but like I think when you say justice, I don't think justice is just the law. Like justice law can come from the law, but it doesn't have to be at all. Like there are plenty of laws that are either bad laws or like essentially laws that should exist that don't exist. So like and the lack of them doesn't mean you can't take actions to accomplish justice. Like you can do things.
What's justice without a judicial system look like? Like let's say someone slighted you and it's not technically breaking the law, because I did go through an extreme like criminal kind of case, which is probably why I would want vengeance, is something like someone had literally committed a crime. But let's just say, Vaden, that Penny, who you work with, keeps stealing your parking spot in the office. It's delegated to you. She has to park somewhere that's like a general park and you've got a preferred parking spot. But Penny just thinks, fuck that, I'm going to park in Vaden's spot every single day. What would justice look like for you? P.S. Fuck Penny.
I mean, you could do justice in various ways. There, like,
are you keying her car?
You could. Well, that wouldn't really. I don't think it really accomplish. I mean, it depends. Well, it depends. That could deter her, maybe. It could be a revenge. But like, you could try to just find some way to look for ways to find out, like, if it's actually your space and my space and it's not hers. And I assume there's someone to talk to you about, like, they have someone to enforce that, because otherwise, if it's no enforcement of that, then sure. Then if it's not actual enforcement.
You've just brought up judicial system.
Exactly.
It's someone else implementing the rules to rectify something that's at fault.
Exactly. But like, if they're saying in this case,
that person doesn't care, if they're like, Penny's pretty hot, I don't know, like, she's not really hurting you, deal with it, dude. Just walk an extra block. You were let down by the enforcement. But if you key a fucking car, you know what I mean? Like,
no, see, that's vandalism.
So
but
that's
you could just park behind them.
Park them in.
There are a lot of things you could do, but like, I mean, like I said, it depends what your goal is. If your goal is to try to stop them to stop it, or are you trying to get them to, like, yeah, I mean, if you're just trying to get them, like I said, well, one mechanic, the image is that, like Tim mentioned, is that doing that. Otherwise, you could just try to like look up their, try to find out their information about the car and see if there's problems with the car, and then report that if you want.
You could have it towed.
If you want to. Yeah, you have to
illegally parked, towed.
Yeah.
Like
Cap
they
said,
said,
tow truck.
what's the thing? I was confused because like in Bob's example, I wasn't sure if like the towing truck would do anything about this. I thought it was still like the whole like you can't rely on anyone else. You have to do things yourself. So that's why I was like, okay, if you're doing this only yourself, you can't rely on anyone else to help in this case. Then what do you do? Like I said, you can
Yeah.
as a boxman, you could mess with their towers or whatever. You could try to look up the information about their things, but like you talk to them and just have a really hard conversation with them and make it clear. But like,
Yeah.
I mean, so many factors go along with this, so it's hard for me to really give a good answer.
JS says revenge is not justice, and then follows up by saying justice itself is a falsehood. There you go. And this is why parents need to teach children that life is not fair. Because it's not. We've got 10 minutes. Who is more dangerous? There you go. This is an easy one. Who is more dangerous? A tyrant who knows he's cruel or a prince who thinks he's right? I think a tyrant who thinks he's cruel, honestly, because a tyrant is already in charge and they're implementing that cruelty. And if they cannot be dissuaded, then that's the problem. A prince who thinks he's right, hopefully there's a little bit more wiggle room to work around that. But a tyrant is already in a position of power from being a tyrant, and that cruelty is what probably got them there. And I just don't see that cruelty from stopping. KP Dubs. A falsehood. Great idea. We steal the hood off Penny's car and replace it with painted plastic wrap. When it goes fast, it peels off. Haha, false hood. Anime is good for those kinds of lessons, Colleen. Anime is the cure. Don't be mad, be better.
I think one of the things that you have to be careful about when you're trying to get a point across, like with the car thing, there's so many. There's some country song about how about getting even with the boyfriend by keying his car and cutting up his leather seats, and I mean it sounds great, but it's so easy for him to have you arrested for that.
Also,
You
that's just not a stable thing. Like if you think that that's a getting even, it just makes you look really bad. This is the thing. It's like, who are you in those moments of rage and anger? What do you do in that moment? And I think that's really crucial. But yeah, this whole like notion of revenge, and we see it all the time, like people spray painting cars. But sometimes, like if I see the one where someone spray painted cheater on it, I'm like, okay, consequences. Depends why. If they just broke up, get over it. But if someone cheated on you, this is a very blurry line, isn't it? Also, if you ever become a boyfriend of mine, don't cheat on me. I think that we've just established that in this stream. That's the one takeaway we have. Don't fucking cheat.
As a revenge all already planned out.
I do like the spray painting of the car because they have to drive around parading that they are a cheater.
I actually saw something like that in real life. I actually saw like a person's car who was messed up and it was like talked about and basically had the whole thing where like they cheated and whatever. I was like, I thought that was actually like some movie thing or whatever, but apparently I already saw someone's car.
Someone
like, analyze like that.
Someone bought a billboard to out their husband with the mistress, like named them on the billboard. And I'm like,
yeah, but
someone didn't want everyone to know, you shouldn't have done it.
Singer of Coldplay it out. So.
Well, that's the thing. You're in public, right? Too many caveats. That is Children of Blood and Bone. Great discussions from that one. I am looking forward to interviewing Tommy about it as well. The takeaway I do want to read really quickly before we go, though, we are going to be reading I Medusa by Ayana Gray, which I'm really looking forward to because I love mythology and we are delving back into Greek mythology, which we have not done for a hot minute. So I'm very excited by that. I'm a what? I'm Medusa. That's funny. But at the end of Blood and Bone, Tomi Adeyemi explains that she wrote this book wrote the story during a time where she was watching repeated news reports of unarmed Black children, women, and men being killed by police in the United States. And she describes feeling fear, anger, grief, and helplessness, and says that this book actually became her way of processing that pain. She does make it clear that while Orisha is fictional, the oppression of the Magi is very much rooted in the real histories of racial violence and systemic injustice. The brutality in this story is not imagined out of nowhere. It does reflect realities that still exist. And Adeyemi shares that if readers cried for the Magi, if they felt rage at their persecution, she hopes that they're going to extend the same empathy to real families who have suffered similar loss. Her message is that stories can awaken empathy, but empathy shouldn't just stop at the end of the page. She closes by reminding us that representation matters, seeing powerful Black heroes matter, and that caring about injustice in fiction should challenge us to care about injustice in real life. I loved the rawness and the transparency of her processing an agenda with this in a way, and challenging all the readers to be like, yes, this is fantasy, yes, this is fiction, but you can actually apply exactly what's happening here to real life. And here are all the instances recently where it's happened. And so just all you have to do is just transfer the pain that you're reading just from this story, because it's actually happening in the real world. I really liked that. Does anyone have sort of feedback, or did that impact anyone else in a pretty profound way? Because I thought that that was so important, and I'm so glad she did not stutter. She made that incredibly clear and made readers draw those parallels. And I think that that's so important. Anyone else?
I appreciated that she really did draw that parallel, because so many times people read books and they side with those that are oppressed and they side with those that are fighting, and then they don't get it in real life when it's really,
The
really
amount
happening.
of far right people who love Red Rising, and you're just like, are we reading the same book? You're not getting what's happening here? Yes, Catch?
Sorry, you just reminded me of a thing I saw the other day that said, was it conservative men listened to Rage Against the Machine and thought, fuck you, I won't do what you tell me, was directed at like their mom or something. You reminded me of that when you were talking about people reading Red Rising, and it made me laugh.
And this is
Sorry.
perspective, right? What the artist is putting out there and how someone else takes it can be vastly different. And that's what Tomi eviscerated. It eviscerated the, I see it this way. She's drawing a very firm, clear line. I wrote this because of these injustices. What you feel here, apply it here. Here is the line. Here is where you can't muddle it. This is where, what I'm trying to say, I'm going to spell it out really clearly for you. Some people say art's really powerful. Like Brandon Sanderson said that. He's like, the last part of writing the book isn't finishing the book. It's how people then interpret your book, because that's completely out of your hands. And whatever you wrote, you can't dictate their experience with it. You can't dictate sort of how they take it. And everyone can have a completely unique experience, vastly different from how you interpreted it. A friend of mine actually sent me a short story that's going to be submitted for a book, and it wrecked me. It was so beautiful, but then the themes of it affected me in such a way, because it's about growing old with someone and losing that very long-term partner. My parents have been together since they were 18. They're so in love. And that for me was just like, this is so, I'm bawling, because it's making me confront my biggest fear of, one of my parents, or when my parents inevitably die. And I was just a mess. And I spoke to him about that. Like, I sent a series of like pictures of like each page that I read, and it was like more and more distraught, and to the point where I'm like sobbing. And he's like, oh my God, I didn't know that would have that effect. And he was like, actually, this story addresses my depression. And I'm like, what? Like, what I got from it and what he wrote, so different. Like, could not even be close. And he's like, I am so astounded to hear that that's how you took it and to see how it impacted you. That's not what I was going for at all. And like, you know, I don't feel that remotely. It was about me trying to process my depression and what the depression looked like. And I'm like, whoa, that's like so different. And then like 3 other people got something vastly different from that as well. And you're just like, oh, wow. Which is why when, you know, we talk about this presidency and it's like, did you not watch Star Wars? Like, insert the message for anything. Are you not getting it? Because from their perspective, they have a different opposition. You know, they think that they're not the empire. They probably think that they're the rebellion, you know. So it's really interesting how that happens. Anyway, guys, that's the episode. Go out and get I, Medusa. We are, for now, try and get to it pretty quickly. I'm going to figure out what the next week looks like. For now, we are slated to reconvene on the 26th of February, and I do believe I will be here for that now. 3 days ago, I was not. Now I am. So we'll stick to that, the 26th. So read the whole book by then. And hopefully soon I will let you know when Tomi Adeyemi interview will be happening. In fact, let's see if I've got that date. Oh, what do you know? Literally the first start of I, Medusa. 26th from 5 till 6 p.m. PT. So no matter what, we'll be meeting on the 26th. Let's read some I, Medusa. I'll see you guys in the Fable for that one. We have a bonus book for Fable. Fable is an app that you can get for free. It's a book club app. We have 2 book clubs on there, Maude's book club, Maude's bonus book club, so that we can cover 2 books every month. It's a chapter breakdown. So if you like to check in and write your thoughts at the end of each chapter, the community can weigh in over there, and it stops spoilers because you only check the chapter that you want to talk about. Alternatively, we have open discussions 24/7 happening in the Discord, which is free as well, discord.gg/Maude Garrett. If you go down, there is a Past the Members Only chat. You can see in general there is a book of the month and a bonus book discussion, and we will update that with each book as well. So that's where the community can talk about themes and quotes and moments, but to do that effectively, we do say put spoiler blocks over it so that we don't spoil it for other people. I don't care about that. I keep going, oh my god, chapter 56 was fucked, and then if you know it, you do. If you don't, enter any conversation with me about books at your own risk, essentially. Great conversation today, though. Do appreciate that. Don't need a raid on Twitch because we're not streaming on Twitch. I will try to upload all of these in better quality on the YouTube page. And it looks like we're probably just going to be doing more YouTube at the moment since only one will work. You'd think with all the technology and how fast and rapidly we're improving that there would be one thing that works. Is it me? Am I the problem? Don't answer that, anyone. Thank you so much for the chats, everyone. Have a great rest of the night. Bye.